Have you ever been in a situation in your life where your anxiety and depression were life threatening? I think that a lot of people judge a lot of people for their depression and the way depression can affect your life. I have, over the course of my entire life, struggled with depression and anxiety. And every time my depression would start to get really bad, I would see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, do some counseling, get on some medications. It would help some, but the underlying issues were still there. The belief systems, the thought processes, the feelings, the things in my life that were creating the depression and the anxiety were still there and still manifesting. And certainly spending time in therapy and taking medications is helpful, but it didn't seem to help me as much as I would like. I was not a spiritual person. I was raised in a very strict religious environment, and I rejected all of that and moved into a very non-spiritual state for a long time. And during that time, for over a decade, I taught dentistry and I taught a dental specialty. I am a dentist and a prosthodontist, a dental specialist, and after a decade of teaching, I decided to move to New Mexico and buy a practice, and I worked with that for several years. The practice never took off like I would have really liked it to, and I found that my depression and anxiety started getting really bad. And once again, I got a medication. I went to a counselor who actually was really quite good. And during that time, one of my patients that came in to see me, Carol, she wanted some complete rework in her mouth. And one of the things that we do as prosthodontists is we fix things. So maybe somebody has an implant case that has gone wrong, or a denture that has gone wrong, or anything that they've had done for them that just hasn't quite worked out. And so they come to us to get it fixed. And so that's what Carol had done. She'd come to me to get something fixed. So I was able to create for her something that was really useful, that she really needed. And the type of work that I would do as a prosthodontist, I would spend a lot of time with the person at the chair talking. And so we really got to know each other. And so I started to trust Carol, and she had been a business owner herself. So she was really in strong support of female business owners. And she had been a business owner. She had hired and fired. She had had to say no and make the tough decisions. And she was helping me with that process. It was really beneficial. And as we were doing that, she mentioned to me, she said, I am Reiki attuned. I offer Reiki to people. And I had never heard of that before. And she said, even though you haven't heard of it and you're not very spiritual, this isn't really spiritual. It's just work with energy and the energy of the universe. And I'd love to work with you. So after a little while, I said, okay. She started coming to my clinic and then eventually had me come to her house. And I would spend about an hour talking to her, kind of like a therapy session. And then she would spend an hour or two uh, giving me Reiki treatment, Reiki energy. During those sessions, she started doing guided meditations before the session. And they were so meaningful. I remember the first one we did, we left our bodies and we traveled out into the universe and looked back down on the earth. I felt that energy and then came back to the earth. It was a very simple guided meditation, but it really was transformative for me. And one of the most transformative parts was the breathing part, where they would say, as you breathe out the doubt and fear. And as you breathe in the hope and love. Breathe out doubt and fear. Breathe in the trust and the hope and the love. And so during the day, if I would start to have a lot of anxiety and depression at my work, I would utilize that breathing technique and it would help me. Not too long before buying the dental practice in Albuquerque, I had broken my leg in California. And going through the experience of laying on a gurney with a broken leg in the emergency room for 3 hours, I did not do well with the pain. I have a low pain tolerance, so it was a lot of pain. I was very uncomfortable. It was a horrible experience. And now I'm like, well, at least if it happens again, I have the tools and the skills with the breathing to be able to manage the pain a lot better. So I did learn a lot about management of pain and of my thoughts. So she introduced me to guided meditation. The guided meditation that I did with her began to change my life. And then spending time with her with Reiki as well, it started to show me that when I was working with clients as a ultra-sensitive empath, I can feel the feelings of the clients and just that washing of energy, of depression and anxiety and fear, nervousness, dread, all the things that people feel when they go to the dentist. I would feel that in a very strong way, and those feelings would connect with me and wash over me and increase my tendency toward depression and anxiety. So I have another talk where I talk about how guided meditation helps an empath. So I'll link that at the end of this video. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how Carol introduced me to guided meditation. So once I began doing guided meditations with her, I began watching other guided meditations on YouTube. And the next one I was drawn to is Bob Proctor Abundance meditation. And the meditation that he offers, he works with vision from Mind Valley. And that's actually a meditation that he had recommended and that Bob Proctor had used. And during the meditation, you are basically put into a hypnotic state, and comments related to manifesting into your reality, anything you can see in your hands, you can see in your life, the concepts of happiness and joy and better relationships are all brought into this video and this meditation. And he recommends doing the meditation for 30 days to change your life. And so I did. I did the 20-minute meditation for 30 days. And it changed my life. And brought me out of that state of depression, brought me to a new state in my life. And so many times people will hear you say, oh, I don't want to live my life anymore, or I want to change my life. But that can also be a plea for having a new life. So that particular meditation is not spiritual. However, the combination of the being treated by Reiki, which is not spiritual, it's just an energy, and listening to that meditation for 30 days, it's not spiritual, it's just energy. It began to open me up spiritually. And so now I enjoy meditations around the moons, the gods and goddesses, the angels, your spirits. And I'm connected to a new and powerful spiritual aspect of my life. But the initial things that brought me there were not necessarily overtly spiritual. So I guess what I want you to know is, even if you're at a point where, the concept of alien ships is completely silly, things like guided meditation and the other aspects of spirituality are still there to help you in a very powerful way. So the third thing I wanted to mention is this last time I was being faced with a lot of depression and anxiety that was life-threatening. I spent a day in guided meditation, taking a hot bath, taking a hot shower, just being in that state for a whole day, and it pulled me out of it. I do take St. John's wort to kind of help regulate my serotonin, and that has been really helpful. But it's nice to be able to use a very low-level, easy medication that's really more of a herb to help me with my depression. And it was every time I have started to go back toward that, I've been able to use guided meditations to help me and pull me out of it. And I think going for a walk with the dog is important, following your intuition. So guided meditation has saved my life and will continue to save my life. And I think that's one of the reasons that I feel so strongly about putting them onto my YouTube and having them available for all. Everyone who is called to come and watch that and be a part of that journey and that meditation. So, in closing, I want to thank you for listening to my story. Please, I'd love to hear about your story and about your journey. And it's okay for our mental health to affect our overall health. It's okay to be honest and open about your mental health. I mean, if you tell your friends that you're struggling with depression at a life affecting your life type of level, if you're dealing with depression at that level. You might feel nervous about talking to your friends because they might respond by, "Oh, I wouldn't want to lose you. You're a wonderful person." But if you're in a position where you're able to talk to your friends about where you're at with your mental health, that's the first step. They don't need to worry. They can just relax. The fact that you're even talking to them is a good thing. And then I just want to encourage you, wherever you are in your life or the people that you know in your life, use guided meditation. It really makes a difference, and it really helps, and it will save your life.